Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program Talk Sport here on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. I'm sure you all had an amazing weekend because the weekend was packed with a whole lot of action in Nigerian Professional Football League, in AFCON, in the EPL, and also in La Liga, in the Spanish Cup. We saw lots and lots of actions. We saw excellent results. Manchester United defeating Man City. That's giving Arsenal still an advantage to still, give Manchester City a reasonable amount of points on the EPL standings. And then in the Nigerian Premier Football League, we saw Rivers United edging Remo Stars 1-0 to still stay up clear and remain number one in the Nigerian Professional Football League league table. We are going to be looking at that. We'll be having those conversations. And then Nigeria came third. That's winning bronze medal in the current, just concluded African Cup of All Nations hosted by Morocco. And Senegal yesterday were very dramatic. And in a dramatic fashion, they defeated Morocco 1-0, and then to lift the 2025 AFCON, African Cup of All Nations, which left the Moroccan fans and the Moroccans in disarray as they were not expecting to see the result that they saw. They were hoping that they were going to host and also win and then break the jinx of over 21 years of not just advancing to the finals, but but not winning it in all of those years as well. So it's just a lot to talk about today in the world of sports. We'll be talking basketball as well. NBA regular season still ongoing, and again, very soon we'll be seeing All-Star Weekend is going to be upon us really, really soon. Votings are currently ongoing for you to pick up your best of the best player in the West and in the East as well. We'll be bringing a highlight of the game between Lakers and Portland, and also we'll be having conversations around those lines. And then let's talk Nigerian basketball. Nigerian Basketball Federation have, lots of individuals have thrown their weight behind Olumide Oyedeji for him to be able to carry basketball, the Nigerian Basketball League, to the next phase. There's a whole lot going on within the basketball phase. A lot happened during the era of Musa Kida, which a lot of persons are still frowning about. That during his era, the basketball here in Nigeria, derailed, went down the drain, and then we are hoping to see with this new management and the election that will be happening soon in the federation, we would see a new dawn for Nigerian basketball and not individuals hosting competitions like the Nigerian Professional Premier League should get on going. And then we'll see how all of this will pan out. The National Sports Commission and Chairman Malam Shehu Diko is standing strongly behind grassroots sport development generally, and he reaffirmed his statement of, if you don't get to promote grassroots sport development, there shouldn't be need for us to, for anybody to come to him and have conversation around international competition. So last year we saw him made this statement, and last year we saw over 15 international competition being hosted by Nigeria, and that has propelled and pushed the Nigerian sporting ecosystem into a higher level. Now, still talking athletics and talking about Nigerian athletes who have been making us proud, we'll be starting from the home front as always, as Bolaji retains Egypt Para Badminton title. Nigerians Eniola Bolaji has successfully defended her title at the 2026 Egypt Para Badminton International, continuing her dominance form on the international stage. The African number one and Parapian bronze medalist defeated world number 7 Halima Aziz of Turkey 2-0. That's 21-10 and 21-4 in the final of the new Capital Indoor Hall in Seattle. This happened last night. Bolaji began her campaign with a commanding 2-0 victory over Yaldis in the opening round, where she recorded 21-9 and 21-10 victory over her opponent, overcoming India's Tolkia Jondava 2-0 rather, where she scored 21-10 and 21-7 respectively in the first and second round. She then beat India's Mazia Agresio Joshi 2-0 still. She had an unbeaten run, defeating them 2-0 each, whichever combated opponent she fails. Joshi came a bit closer, where she defeated her 21-10 and 11 and 21 and 13, where she reached the semi-final, and then she secured another straight set win against Indian Sovereign. And Bolaji triumphed this year followed another commanding display at the 2025 edition, where she defeated Sweden's Halvi Solomanos in a run of 2-0 in the play in the women's XL3 final, and overcame all her earlier rounds opponents in straight sets, cementing her dominance in the event. So this has not been news. She is the African's #1 in terms of para badminton, and then she continued with her, amazing winning power as she has advanced into this stage. So she started the year 2026 on a very, very high note. Due to AFCON, a whole lot of attention was not paid to her when she was, battling it out with other contingents in Egypt, but she still came out victorious regardless. So moving on now, still talking athletics, Faith Osamuyi wins 60 meters hurdle on NCAA debut. Nigerian sprinter Faith Osamuyi made an impressive start to her national college Collegiate Athletic Association career, winning the women's 60 meters hurdle at the Indian Invitational. This happened over the weekend. Faith clocked 8.41 seconds to claim victory on her college debut. She also featured in the 60 meters dash, posting a personal best of 7.52 seconds in the preliminary round before finishing 5th in the final. The University of Senate Malka finished second in the hurdle race with a time of 8.47 seconds, while Anna Thompson of Southeastern Murcia State placed third with 8.48 seconds. Faith is a reigning National Sport Festival champion in the women's 100 meters hurdle, having won her maiden title in Abeokuta in May 2025, ahead of Grace Ayomola and the rest of the field. So the Nigerian flag is flying higher. This is in the US, where she represents for the first time under the green, white, green flag, and then being victorious and setting up a new, record for herself in her debut match. This is just interesting to see, breaking the limits and making a bold statement. This is how you announce your arrival, actually, in whichever sporting activities you're participating in. Debuting on the very first day and having an excellent result. This is a day that I'm very sure Faith wouldn't be forgetting in the longest. So moving on now, we'll be talking basketball now. Amadou backs Oyedeji to steady Nigerian basketball. Remember, I made it comment earlier that Nigerian basketball has not been all that, just like Odumodu Black will say, you are not all that. Nigerian basketball hasn't been all that of recently, and again, it's a very, very big concern in the sense that it just keeps derailing. It's either we see Abuja City League or we see Rims and Trails. These are just individuals hosting all of these activities. The Nigerian Basketball League just get played for 6 weeks in Port Harcourt, and then afterwards it's done. Maybe Rivers Hoopers will just get to win and then represent in Bar, but this time around it was a different occasion. Rivers Hoopers are not going to Bar. A different team is going to Bar, and I'm happy to see that all of this is happening. It's no longer business as usual. So retired Colonel Sam Amadu has expressed confidence that Olumide Oyedeji can play a substantial role in Nigerian basketball as key stakeholders move to end years of administrative turmoil following a crucial meeting in Abuja aimed at resetting the sports governance. Amadu, president of FIBA Africa Zone 3 and one of Nigeria's most influential basketball administrators, said that the prolonged crisis that has purged the game could finally be nearing an end, stressing that peace would return through structure, dialogue, and strict adherence to the law rather than force improvisation. Central of Ahmed's vision for stability in the involvement of Oyedeji, whom he identified as a key figure capable of restoring credibility to the system at the time when trust in basketball administration remains fragile. Oyedeji, a former NBA player and a long-serving Nigerian captain, has represented the country at the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, African Games, and major continental competitions. So looking at this now, he understands, he was once a player. And then Oyedeji is someone that we are hoping to see that would actually move Nigerian basketball to the higher level, because looking at it currently now, basketball in Nigeria is draining, and it's really nothing to write home about as we speak. So we are hoping to see that this new administration, Musa Kida's administration, did a whole lot of things wrongly. We have not had, over the past 4 years now, we've not had the normal basketball league being played in Nigeria. When it's like 6 weeks, at most 6 weeks to the end of the season, the normal season calendar year for a basketball league to advance, for the team to advance to BAL, we will just see a couple of organizations will just come up and then fly to Port Harcourt, play a match for like 6 weeks or less, and then boom, Rivers United gets to win, and then the next thing, they advance to BAL and disappoint Nigeria. So now, I think if there is a new administration, a new president stepping in, we are hoping to see something totally different from what we're used to seeing. So moving away from basketball, let's talk Nigerian Premier Football League quickly, and then we'll be having the conversation around AFCON. At the point, I'll be introducing my DM, who will be having us x-ray and then tell me how she really felt when she was watching the game between Senegal and Morocco, and also her reactions to when the Super Eagles of Nigeria were playing Egypt in the third in the groups, in the bronze medal game, and how she felt seeing Nigeria winning. So let's talk MPFL quickly, as Remo Stars, Ikorodu City set for MPFL hearing on Monday. That's happening today. The Nigerian Premier Football League has summoned Remo Stars and Ikorodu City to an investigative hearing today following a report of fracas and alleged physical attacks on fans during and after their Match Day 20 feature. The MPFL Chief Operating Officer, Davidson Owumimi, expressed frustration that the incident took place despite a reconciliation meeting held with top officials of both clubs in attendance. In the light of the reports, the video evidence that are in the position of the MPFL is inviting the two clubs to have investigating hearing later today in Abuja. The statement reads, Davidson said the hearing would enable the league to get to the immediate and remote cause of the incident and invoke rules to apply due sanctions to anyone or club found guilty of any of these concerns. So looking at it now, this is not just good to be having conversations around, because we've seen a lot of concerns. We've seen where fans and footballers are just worried of what would happen after their game, if they'll be getting home safe. This violence we're seeing in sport, this is not what sport is all about. Generally, this is not what football is all about. Sports generally unites people, and then seeing crisis like this and people stepping in to like violent, go violent on other opposing fans is actually very, very concerning to see. And we are hoping that the MPFL will get to the root of this, and then the NFF will place a very heavy sanction on any team or club that will be found guilty. So moving on now, still talking MPFL, Rivers United stays top as Abia Warriors, Ikorodu City shines. Rivers United, Abia Warriors and Ikorodu City continued their strong push at the top of the Nigerian Premier Football League as Match Day 21 feature were concluded across the country. Nasarawa United and Bendel Insurance also claimed vital victories to consolidate 4th and 5th position respectively, while Barra FC boosted their survival hopes with a hard end point on the road in Aba. In Port Harcourt, Rivers United edged Remo Stars 1-0 in a clash between the past and present champions. Former Remo Stars attacker Ikem Okon proved decisive, firing home the winner in the 81st minute against his old club. The victory lifted the pride of Rivers to 41 points from 21 matches, maintaining their top grip on top spot, while Remo Stars slipped into the 15th and with 25 points. Abia Warriors recorded one of the standout results of the weekend in Kano, silencing hostile crowd to defeat Kano 1-0. The Umuahia-based side halted Pillars' 5 games unbeaten run and stayed second on the table with 37 points, just 4 points behind Rivers United. So we'll be extracting this more, but quickly, Nigeria extended a perfect bronze medal record with penalty win over Egypt. Let me bring you up to speed with the story and then bring you the highlights, and then I'll introduce my other DM who would be explaining how she felt when she was watching the game and seeing Nigeria coming back at least with a bronze medal. Nigerians strengthened their unique legacy in total Energy CAF African Cup of All Nations history after defeating Egypt 4-2 on penalties on Saturday. Third place playoff, extending a flawless record in bronze medal matches. The Super Eagles held their nerve in Casablanca after a tense goalless contest, with goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali emerging as a decisive figure in the shootout. The victory means Nigeria have now won all 8 third-place matches they have contested at AFCON finals, a record unmatched by any nation in the competition's history. Nigeria had already entered the playoff with an extraordinary reputation, having claimed the bronze on every previous occasion they reached in this stage. Saturday's success over Egypt not only preserved that perfect run, but also increased Nigeria's overall bronze medal tally to 9, further distancing them from their continental rivals. While Egypt arrived with their own proud history in third-place matches, having won 3 of their previous 5, they were unable to disrupt Nigerians' dominance in this particular future. The Pharaohs were edged out in a shooting out and underlined the Super Eagles' composure and consistency in high-pressure situations. Historically, African third-place matches have produced drama, goals, and controversies, but Nigerians' relationship with bronze medal has been defined by control and efficiency. From narrow wins in 2002 and 2006 to decisive victories in 2010, 2019, now another shootout triumph in 2025. The Super Eagles have repeatedly found a way to finish the tournament at the podium. So this is no longer news. Nigeria is a very, very strong side, and Nigeria is arguably one of the best teams in Africa. So while I wait to have this conversation depthly, let's bring you a quick highlight of the game between Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Egyptians, the highlight, and then I'll introduce my guests to you who would help us extract what happened day before yesterday and yesterday. Stay with us, we'll be right back.